I'd come over here and see you.
Hello and good morning, fans of the NBBA and Beat Baseball. Welcome to the championship game at the South Lakes Soccer Complex in Wichita, Kansas. Hosted by Visit Wichita and presented by Envision. This is the championship game between the I woke up on the right side of the bed this morning, the Indy Thunder and the San Antonio Jets. I'm Matt Wallace along with Rosina Foster and a special guest here, president of the NBBA, Blake Boudreau. And what a ball game we have here today.
So as we saw earlier, Indy won the coin toss, so they are taking home. So we will have the Jets up at bat. Blake, would you like to tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Blake Boudreau. I'm the president of the National Beat Baseball Association, and this is my 27th year with the league as a player, and I've been president since 2017, and we're really excited to be back on the field in 2021 after a year off due to the COVID pandemic. So everybody's excited to be playing this year.
Absolutely. And what team do you play for?
I play for the Houston Bayou City Heat. I've been a member of the same team, Houston, for 26 of my 27 years, and I actually played for the San Antonio Jets in 2017.
Wonderful. Now, we saw these two teams play yesterday. It was a 12-10 final in favor of the Indiana Thunder. Now, they need one win today to take the championship. If the San Antonio Jets win this game, there will be another game right afterwards to decide the championship. It was great Beat Baseball yesterday. For me, I'll admit to having a little bit of a rooting interest in this game because I want to see two Beat Baseball games today.
And being a member of the San Antonio Jets in 2017, I can tell you these guys showed up to play today. So this will be extremely competitive between some incredible players and volunteers. We have two pitchers pitching in this game who have a tremendous amount of experience, 14 championship wins between the two of them, and they both started at a very young age. Kevin Simpson with the San Antonio Jets started at age 9, and Jared Woodard for the Indy Thunder started at age 12. So they've developed into two of the greatest pitchers in the history of our sport.
And one of the major storylines in this tournament, this is Kevin Simpson's last hurrah for the San Antonio Jets, longtime pitcher as well for the Austin Blackhawks. So the San Antonio Jets may be an extra emotion involved in this game today, and the Indy Thunder trying to win their 5th consecutive championship.
So as we have Indy Thunder starting to take the field, they're wearing their light gray jerseys. They do have numbers front and back. That's going to be especially helpful for the scorekeepers out there today. On the front, they have their white Indy Thunder with the bottom of the T for Thunder in a lightning bolt. We have right now Corian White is skipping out to his position on the field with the spotter. You can tell he's very jazzed up and excited today. The Jets have just broken their huddle as they have a little team conference. They're wearing their black and green jerseys with the outline of San Antonio and the jet flying overhead, and then the name Jets in Braille underneath. They will be up at bat first, and this is definitely still almost a cloud-free day, again, as it has continued to be all week long. Cornfields in the back of our field kind of gives almost a Field of Dreams feeling going on here.
Absolutely.
I imagine, though, the heat is a factor, but when you know you're not playing the first of like 3 games, when you know it's the championship game, this is the kind of the end of the sprint, I feel like the weather probably matters a little less than earlier in the week.
It does get hot in Indianapolis, but I will tell you, San Antonio is used to the heat, playing many of their tournaments in Texas, so they are prepared for any weather.
Yeah. Sources around the league have told me that the hottest by far World Series that they've experienced was Houston, Texas. That was a few years ago.
Absolutely. Next year we'll be in Beaumont, Texas, so we'll experience the same effect.
As they have the Thunder out in the field counting off, you can hear the Jets cheering and trying to sound them out, to cover them up, to show their dominance.
The Jets showed a lot of mental toughness after that tough loss to the Thunder with the 13-5 win over the Austin Blackhawks. So Austin finished 3rd. So the Jets, I apologize for the listeners who may not have heard, they beat the Austin Blackhawks 13-5. So Austin finished 3rd in the World Series. So a great mental toughness by the Jets to try to win 2 in a row over the Thunder as we're about to get underway in the top of the 1st.
Absolutely. Kevin is taking his place, walking around, keeping limber up at the pitcher's mound as we have number 20, Zach, coming up to bat.
What a day for Zach Arambula yesterday. We saw a game, Rosina, he had 12 putouts in that Thunder game.
The lines are very crisp here. It looks like they've gone over. Nice bright paint on the field. Going to make it very easily visible to check all the fouls.
And a defensive and offensive all-star potentially this season.
Doing a check on the ball currently. Apparently the first ball that we're going to try might need to be replaced.
We want to give a big shout out to Alfonso Madrano for providing the balls for the 2021 World Series. It's the first year we've been using an alternative beat baseball, so they've worked out very nicely this week.
Pitcher
Kevin's
for the Houston
taking
Heat, correct?
That's correct. He's the pitcher for the Houston Bayou City Heat also.
For his first practice pitch, Kevin slightly closed his eyes, took a deep breath, ready for his last World Series.
Also, obviously, want to give a big shout out to all of our scorekeepers, volunteers, spotters.
Going to start up the first pitch of the championship game. And that was a miss as the bat slid over the ball by about 2 inches. It was centered, just needing to get that contact.
There's one strike on the batter early on here.
High pop-up ball, but it's going to be foul over along the Jets' first baseline.
So, for those of you at home who are tuning in to Beat Baseball for the first time, think of sixes, 6 on 6, 6-inning game, 4 strikes on a batter. You can take 1 pitch for your timing. We'll get to more rules as the game goes on here.
That's going to be a tip-off, running foul along the third baseline.
With Eric Rodriguez up there short, Rosina, we know how much ground he can cover. You don't want that one if you're Zach Arambula.
Both teams in that front left field with Zach and Eric are just monsters on the ball.
Yeah.
You definitely do not want a grounder right to them.
Two of the greatest defenders you've ever played between Zach and Eric Rodriguez.
And Eric is only 21 years old.
3 strikes. Play. Yeah, they usually do this.
Gearing up for the pitch. It's going to be a far outside. It's going about 30 feet up in the air, bouncing foul on the first base line.
Yeah, it had that sound. But that's what he wants, that pop-up. He wants that good beat baseball pop-up, give himself a chance to get to the base. Obviously, you're not going to see players take a pass off of Kevin Simpson, so probably see him swing away again here.
We have some thicker grass this week, so the ball has not been traveling very far on the ground, so it is key for these teams to get the ball in the air to score.
And Zach making his way back to home plate, taking his time to get as much of a breather as possible. Feeling home plate, setting himself and swiping his feet on the grass. Kevin coming up to the mound.
3 strikes. Play.
There's a lot of conversation between the pitcher. It's going to be critical here in this game.
Absolutely, telling him not to adjust too much.
It's going to be a low grounder between center and right field. Just went they tripped over one another, but Adam Rodenbeck has the ball. That is Adam Rodenbeck.
We saw him make a key put out in the Jets game in the 5th inning yesterday. Adam makes a big play here, and it did sound like it was out before he hit the bag to me, and that's out number 1 in the game. So Zach Arambula, good hit, good piece of 3-strike hitting, couple of foul balls to stay alive there before really cracking one. Got to the base as fast as he could, but...
And Adam is playing with a strained hamstring, so it is incredible that he is able to still make the plays that he's used to making, but he's a veteran in this sport, so he's definitely shown up today.
Checking the field and the bases as David Smith is up to bat for the Jets. Swinging the bat in his wrist.
He went 2 for 5 in the game against the Thunder yesterday, but only really hit 1 ball well.
Oh, and that was a strike as the bat slid right underneath the ball about 2 inches.
Much better game, 4 for 5 against the Blackhawks. Trying to do too much, it seemed, against the Thunder yesterday.
And another Smith, almost identical.
Kevin Simpson saying, we both messed that one up a little bit. That was early, you were late. Good communication there, 2 strikes.
And that's going to be another strike for David.
David Smith a little bit jacked up right now, it seems. top
Taking
first.
a deep breath. It's going to be a high pop-up over along to first base, and that is going to be foul. That was probably about a 60 foot in the air pop-up, but it is foul at the first base.
That'll give him some confidence. He seemed a little bit anxious and jumpy early in the at-bat, and that's kind of what he's looking for. And it's a really good pop for him. Still 3 strikes. Got to do it again.
Wait until it came down before I could really call it.
Slowly making his way back to the plate.
David Smith is a CrossFit fanatic. He's always come in incredible shape, and he's developed his game and become a really good player on both sides of the ball.
Yes, we've seen him make a couple of key putouts in the Thunder game, in the Austin Blackhawks game, and in the Indy Edge game of the day a few days ago. 3 strikes on the batter.
At home, feeling the very front corner as Kevin wipes his face from the sweat and takes his place on the pitcher's mound. It's going to be a solid line drive right past Corian, back into... Oh, it just rolled past Corey's hands. And he is going to be safe. That's going to be the first score up on the board for David White of the Jets. That ball rolled right past Corian and just barely past Corey White's fingers. He was able to grab it, but not in time for the run.
So the Jets are off and running with a 1-0 lead with 1 out here in the top of the first inning of the championship game. And good for David Smith. He was really working that at-bat. You heard some of the instruction early in the at-bat by Kevin Simpson, relax. And he did, just in time with 3 strikes. First he hit it foul, didn't let that deter him, and he's able to score the first run of the game. And that's what it's going to take for the Jets to win this game. People like David Smith are going to have to be at their best all game.
As Axel Cox comes up to the plate, I've noticed that all the Jets seem to have the green out of their hair today. Ready for the pitch. It's going to be a high pop-up right into center, about 60 feet up, right at Adam Rodenbeck's feet. He's fumbled it, and that is going to be another save. You could see Adam slamming his fist into the ground with the frustration that he could not get that ball up in the air in time.
Well, there's certain plays where it's pretty decent wheels, and sometimes you just beat the play out, and that's what happened there. He just beat it out. That was a very good base run.
It's so difficult when the ball is that far in the air to be able to recover and track it in time when you have that kind of speed coming from the San Antonio Jets.
So a 2-0 lead, still only 1 out. And this is what the Jets need, especially having lost the coin toss, not having the advantage of being the home team. And I believe, is this going to be Aaron Almanza?
This is going to be Aaron up at bat. It is 2-0.
Mike, yeah.
Double checking the wires at third base.
Third base was the problem base yesterday, too, I do believe at times, with the wire.
Base check is clear. You can see Aaron tapping his bat at the grass.
But to win the game, you need those kind of pop-ups as well.
Oh, and a little bit early on that swing. So Kevin is coming up to discuss with Aaron just a little bit of brief instruction. Calm down. I know it's the World Series, but you got this.
So far, it seems as though the majority of the swings and misses have been early by the Jets. And you get a championship game, first inning. Jets know that they need to win 2 games. Trying to do Kevin Simpson proud in his last. Hoorah.
That pitch was just a touch early, but not as much as earlier.
2 strikes, 1 out. Top 1, Jets 2, Thunder yet to bat.
It's going to be a high pop, probably about 70 feet up, but I don't think it's going. It dropped almost right at Kevin's feet at the pitcher's mound.
Had a lot of hang time, not a lot else. That was probably the hardest foul tip I've ever, hardest and longest foul tip.
Kevin telling Aaron, that's it. That's what we're going to do today.
Yep. 3 strikes, however. Saw a good piece of 3-strike hitting by David Smith. Always a little bit of a pressure-packed situation. Yeah.
Oh, that's another strike. Just a little off. That is going to be out.
Never want to give away free outs there. Kevin Simpson struggled with the strikeouts against Austin early. He had 4 strikeouts in the first 3 innings, kept the Blackhawks in the game. Once he cut down on that, Jets were able to pull away late, but can't really have that happen against a team like the Indy Thunder.
We have number 23, Ricky Rizika up at bat.
Get in the field. Bases, please.
Base check, and the field is ready. Coming up for the pitch. Kevin telling him a straight at me. Oh, and he just slid under that by about a half an inch. It was a very near miss.
The Jets' 13-5 win over Austin. Most of their runs were scored by the top of their order. They're going to have to get production from the 4, 5, and 6, like Ruzicka.
It's going to be a line drive over in the left field. It has gone past Eric. He's still running back for it. And Miguel. They're both... And he is going to be safe. Miguel did end up with the ball in his hands, but not up in time. So that is going to be another one for the Jets, making it 3-0 Jets.
Ricky has been doing a lot of running this year, half marathons, and doing a lot of training, and you can see it in his base speed. It's completely different from the last time we saw him on the field. He has gained a lot of speed.
And so you'd have to say that 2 out of the 3 runs scored by the Jets in this top of the first inning were earned by their speed. And of course, the hits were strong enough where the fielders had to scramble, but you had Eric and Miguel, 2 great fielders, Eric Rodriguez, 2 great fielders chasing that ball, and the player was able to beat it out.
Ricky Castaneda up at bat. And I always love watching his stance. It amazes me how he can get the swing, how he holds that bat tight up against his body. Resetting. Kevin's wiping all the sweat out of both of his eyes.
2 down. Top 1.
It's going to be a hard little tip rolling right back over to the Jets' bench over by first base.
And again, we welcome those of you who are listening on behalf of the NBBA, the Beep Baseball Championship. Indiana Thunder, San Antonio Jets. Top of the first, 2 outs, 3-0. Jets off to a good start.
A hard little pop-up, but it's going right to it's bouncing around Corian, and Corian has him out. Number 6, Corian White with the put out on Ricky Castaneda.
First put out of the game for Corian White. That'll close the book on the top of the first inning. The Jets get off to a good start. They pick up 3 runs, only 1 strikeout. Decent contact all around. We'll go to the bottom of the first. The Jets 3, and the Thunder yet to bat. Blake, you mentioned earlier about how the grass is preventing the ball from really moving. And with certain teams, that probably was a factor. We mentioned Bayou City placing 12th in this year's World Series, and they're usually known, right, as a power team, and that was that aspect of their game was taken away from them a little bit by the field conditions.
Yeah, we usually are a team that gets the ball in the air significantly, but this week we've hit a lot of ground balls, and this grass has just eaten them up, and the defensive players have been able to pick it up a lot more than usual because of the slowness of the fields.
I apologize. We did the game of the day when Houston played the New Jersey Titans, and it was an 8-3 final. And I think in that game, Medrano had 4 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts. It was less than 5. So it was contact all the time across the board, and it was hard contact across the board, and it had to be frustrating. It was amazing for me to see. That a team like that definitely, and probably others were really affected by the grass. It really changed kind of the factor in this tournament.
It did, and injuries play a role as well. Myself, I went out with a pulled hamstring the game before, and our best offensive player had heat stroke symptoms that game against the New Jersey Titans, as many saw on the live stream. So.
We have the Jets are set out in the field. We have Eric Rodriguez up at bat, number 7 for the Thunder. And Jared giving some instructions as Eric kind of swings the bat in his wrists to get a couple practice swings in there.
Hall of Fame pitcher Jared Woodard.
Pitch.
Ready to go for the Thunder.
And it's a little tip off. It just dropped right at his feet and probably went about 5 to 8 feet forward, not quite to the pitch.
Eric Rodriguez shockingly only went 1 for 5 from the plate in the Jets game yesterday, which you could look at that as a good sign for the Jets. Or
high pop up about 75 feet up right into center. Is he going to get it to the base? He is safe. He is safe. That is the first point by Eric Rodriguez for the Thunder. So it is 3-1 Jets.
Or you could look at it as a missed opportunity.
Eric Rodriguez, with his stature, he's not a large individual, but he has so much power behind his swing. And just on both sides of the ball, Eric at 21 years of age is one of the greatest players who's ever played the game of beat baseball, and it shows.
We do have number 10, Gerald Dykus, coming up to bat, another speedy individual for the Thunder.
Also 1 for 5 yesterday. So the Thunder only defeated the Jets by a couple runs yesterday, but from a Jets perspective, might have been a missed opportunity. Corey White went 5 for 5, but the top 2 players, superb hitters for the Thunder, were held down, and they were still able to find what it took to win.
Ready for the pitch. Oh, and that ball was a little on the outside of the swing. Gerald repositioning his stance by lining the bat up with the front of the plate. Bat resting on the shoulders and now in position. Oh, it's going to be a hard one. Popped. Jared had to pop out of the way to get it. It is on the ground. Oh, and he is going to be safe. That was a fumble between little Ricky and Zach over there at center. They had both ran to grab it.
That's going to make the score a 3-2 Jets lead, but with still nobody out. So the 1-2 hitters who were held down yesterday, not held down on their first at-bats today. And what a base run by Gerald Dykus.
Number 6, Corian White for the Thunder, swinging his bat in a rotation while he waits for the field to set.
And Blake, it's got to be up to the end of this pitch.
Oh, he slid right underneath that by about 2 inches.
It's got to be great to see all the family connections, Corian and Corey White, all the brothers of the Hogwoods with the Titans. I could keep going.
Oh, this time the ball was right over the
And that's how a
top.
lot of people, the Simpson family with the Jets, I mean, it's we're all one big family, but there's a lot of extended family members involved in this sport.
It's a low little grounder right into left field. You have to know that Zach's going to be gobbling that up. He's safe. It is called safe. That does tie up the game.
It's very important to understand the rules of beat baseball. You have to have the ball off the ground and away from your body. A lot of times this week we've seen players have the ball either pressed against their chest or their leg or on the ground, and if you don't have it up, it's going to be a run.
And of course, you're going to say up because you want it to be up. You feel like it's
Good call, Blue.
It's up in your mind. And honestly, that sounded like a very, very close play. It sounded like a very, very close play. And you could have, he might have even hit the base, a split second before he set up anyway. It's 3-3, and what a base run again by Corian White, I apologize.
Oh.
This is Corey White.
This will be Corey White. He's kind of on a knee at home plate as we have a huddle as Kevin has gone out to revamp and get his team, the Jets, under control out in the field, re-spreading back out to their positions. You have Darnell Booker bringing an umbrella over Corey, but not needed as the field is now settled out, so heading back to the bench.
Yeah, they definitely need to relax a little bit. They built that 3-0 lead, and the top 1, 2, 3 hitters for the Thunder have scored, so still nobody out. Now a tie game, and the Thunder really have a chance to unload Corey White, who was not retired yesterday.
Corey with his bright batting gloves, giving a swing single-handed through the wrist of his left hand and bat up to the shoulder.
The Indiana Thunder 4-time champions.
Hard line drive right between center and left. It went past Zach, and it's right over to Axel, and he has him out. That is by Axel Cox. That is an put out.
I was with you. I couldn't hear it at
The
all.
ball sounded dead off the bat, so it'll be interesting to see if it's still beeping, but what a tremendous play either way.
Yeah, and so I guess, Blake, then the out counts, even if it was a dead ball, if you could pick it up.
Absolutely, and it's impressive if you did field the dead ball. But it sounded dead immediately off the bat.
Shot by Corey White, an incredible hitter. First time we've seen the Jets get him out, and it wasn't an easy play. Axel Cox, a very, very good defender. The ball's still working, or is that a new ball?
This is a new
That's a new ball
that we're rejecting as well.
Another
Not quite
dangerous
loud
hitter.
enough.
I'm going to guess this is going to be Kyle Lewis.
So that is one instance where the thickness of the grass did help the play because he was able to pinpoint the ball due to it rolling through the grass.
Okay, whereas on normal field that might have bounced and continued to roll.
And again, as you said, this is Kyle Lewis up at bat. He is a left-handed batter for the Thunder.
Saw him hit one Rosina 145 feet in the air, and I quipped, Yeah, only 145 feet. And you said, could you hit it 145 feet? I said, I could bunt it the rest of the 25 feet. I could get it to that 170-foot line. But he's probably the one we saw hit the ball the hardest yesterday, even for the Thunder.
And Kyle Lewis is one of the newest members of our NBBA Board of Directors. So congratulations, Kyle, for winning that election, and we look forward to working with him as well.
And Axel Cox as well.
Axel as well, and
also out
Darnell
on the
Booker
field.
from the Indy Thunder is our new first vice president.
And Kalari is also a new board member, I believe.
Kalari Gerkley did the game with us yesterday when the Jets played the Austin Blackhawks.
And Jerry Wendell, who's been a part of this organization from before I was born. So many, many years of experience joining our board.
Getting that base check. Tapping the plate.
We have one out in the bottom of the first. We have a tie beat baseball game, 3-3. Championship game, Indy Thunder, San Antonio Jets. Kyle Lewis at the dish, no count.
Kyle goes. Oh, and it almost hit Jared. Just popped a grounder over to little Ricky. He is going to be scooping that up, and he is out. That is out by little Ricky Castaneda.
Ricky Castaneda has been doing a lot better up there. They've been talking to some Jets last night. He's been doing a lot better up there. They've been kind of training. He's made a lot of great defensive plays. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied here, but great play, 2 outs. Ricky Castaneda has made a very key put-out in that game against the Blackhawks in the 4th inning to keep the score at the time 6-4 and keep it close. His put-out really changed the complexion of the game. After that, the Blackhawks really lost a lot of their luster in the game. Jets wound up scoring 6 runs in the 5th inning to put the game away.
Strike one for Miguel Tello up at bat. And Jared saying, let's just do that again. Practice little slow swing by Miguel there over the plate.
So now 2 outs for the Jets. They can get through this tide.
A high pop-up into center field, but it's going right to Zach. All he's got to do is get it up in the air this time, and he did successfully, so that is out. Had it up off his body and the ground.
20.
Jets make their way back into the bench.
I was about to say, Rosina, we're about to see an inning where Zach Arambula doesn't make a putout for the San Antonio Jets. He made 12 of them against the Thunder alone in the game yesterday. You only get 18 outs. He makes that one. Huge putout for him, and 3 different Jet players. Ricky Castaneda, Zach Arambula, and Axel Cox. All 3 make putouts for the San Antonio Jets, and they have to be feeling fortunate and happy. They allowed 3 runs, nobody out, called timeout to reset, and they were able to put the fire out. So we'll go to the 2nd inning, only tied 3-3. And how many timeouts, again, to clarify, do you get a game? I believe only 1 an inning, I know, but I believe it's 3 during the course of a game?
Yes, and it's
4 during the course of a game.
And it's something that the umpires pretty closely monitor. So we've had teams like my own who want to take an extra long timeout at times, and they stay on top of it. So we got to keep the game moving so that we'll have time for that 2nd championship game if need be.
So we will see the top of the Jets order as we get set for the 2nd inning. Zach Arambula, Dave Smith. They both scored runs in the first. No, I apologize. Zach was put out. Dave Smith is 1 for 1, had that really good 3-strike hit. So we will see if the Jets can recapture that mojo.
It's never pretty.
Kevin giving a couple tosses in the air, wiping his hand off with the sweat from his glove and the ball. First base. And Zach has said he's ready.
Zach 0 for 1, put out by Adam Rodenbach his first time up. I apologize if I mispronounced that.
And it's going to be a line drive right along left, but it is foul about 10 feet before the 3rd base.
Good thing, too, for the Thunder, because he was already there. He was booking it down that.
Eric Rodriguez was also right there with it.
That's Eric Rodriguez's hot spot. You don't want to hit it there, or he's going to gobble it up.
Anything on the ground there on the left, either side, is dangerous territory. Unless they accidentally don't get it off their body.
You want to get the ball in the air or go away from Eric, because anything there, he will eat up all day long.
Zach resetting at the plate, taking a deep breath. Swinging the wrists. Small adjustment by Kevin. high pop-up out into left, way past Eric. It's going to be bouncing around Miguel. It bounced off his hands, and when it bounced...
Oh, missed the base.
Oh, and Zach missed the base. He missed the base, so Miguel Tello with the out.
That simply can't happen in this kind of a game. You give away outs, and that's a tough one. Obviously it's inadvertent. You never happen. I played in my very short, kind of irrelevant career, definitely missed the base a few times. You just want to, it's the worst feeling, and that's a real tough break. That was a run on the board for the Jets, easily safe.
And that can be a momentum changer right there. We had 2 missed bases earlier in our week, and it changed the momentum of the game, and they need to avoid those mental mistakes.
So one huge out for the Jets, and one you hit it past Eric, like you mentioned. You finally get to do that.
That was a beautiful hit, absolutely beautiful hit.
Perfect hit when it bounced. Miguel was there to grab it, but it bounced off his fingertips, but he was up scrambling for it.
His first put out of the day. Zach now 0 for 2, and this will bring up David Smith, who did hit it past Eric his first time. He's 1 for 1. He scored in the first, so he's going to have to...
not happy with the first base sound. He's dropped his gloves, and he's heading over to the first base ump.
And it was interesting. He asked if he was okay with the base prior to that at bat, so Kevin was already concerned prior to the hit.
For that first base. I believe the speaker vent was not quite, had been twisted a little bit, partially over it, possibly.
Let's see if this comes back to bite San Antonio. They're tied 3-3.
Ran right past the edge of that base. Was about 5 feet behind it as he skidded to a stop, tried to spin around, but it was too late.
It's just unfortunate for him. Sometimes you see the player get like a little fingertip on it just by accident, just unable to do that. Just ran right past it.
Okay, Kevin making his way back up to the mound as the base check goes through. It says David Smith, number 7 for the Jets. High pop-up over into right field. It is past Corian. They're running for Corey, scrambling for the ball, and he is safe. Corey was about 1.5 feet away from that ball. Not even a chance to get it up in the air as David hit the base.
That's a big swing for David Smith again. 2 for 2 for him. And like you said, Blake, could have been a momentum killer. He really needed that swing there after Kevin Simpson corrected that base, made sure that speaker was okay. Big swing.
Kevin's never going to get rattled. This is his 15th championship game, so he knows what the big dance feels like.
That does put the Jets up at 4-3 as we have Axel Cox up at the bat in his very casual, very relaxed stance. Axel always to seem like he is relaxed.
Play, Axel.
And it's going to be a bouncing right past Kevin, right into center field. You know that. And yep, number 6, Corian White has scooped that right up, and Axel Cox is out.
I was just about to say he's 1 for 1, and you saw him on the first inning beat it with his speed. You really can't beat that with your speed.
No, and again, anything on the ground today more than likely will be a put out unless there's an error by the defense. These teams are very skilled.
2 outs, only a run in. So for the Jets, looking for Aaron Almanza.
Aaron comes up to the plate with his green cleats, and also today he's wearing a headband that is black with white stars.
Faces, please. Thank you. Play, Aaron, guys.
Aaron Almanza.
Booking warning his team that Aaron is up to bat. Oh, that was a little bit early swing and a strike.
Yeah, he's struck out his first at bat, so looking only strikeout victim of the game so far. So he's looking to make some positive contact here.
Oh, it was just over the top of that swing by about 1.5 inches over the ball as Aaron pulls his left sleeve up on his arm. Kevin telling him start high, finish high. Just the encouragement you need to hear. And it is. It's going to be a line drive. Oh, Eric has stopped it, but it bounced off his feet. But he's out. He has gotten it. Put it up in the air. And so Aaron is going to be out by Eric Rodriguez. He definitely will eat anything up over there on the ground in left.
Believe it or not, I do believe that might be his first put out of this game. But only a run for the Jets in the top of the 2nd inning. And that seemed like another missed opportunity on the base. I'm not sure if he missed or if he Rosina, or if it just wasn't as fast of a base run, but it seemed like he had an opportunity to get there with maybe a tiny bit more speed there. And
it only bounced off Eric's feet. It didn't come up to his hands. It bounced off his feet, away from his body, but only about 3 feet. And all Eric had to do was kind of flop his body around, almost like pivoting, kind of like a magical maneuver there. As he just flopped and grabbed the ball up.
Aaron's pretty quick to the base. Aaron and his brother Renee, who have played with the Jets for several years now, are both incredible athletes, and that was a pretty good hit. But again, that's the dead zone. You don't want to hit it in this game. Is to Eric Rodriguez over in left field.
And Eric Rodriguez seems to have such a concept of time, of how much time he has to pick it up before a given hitter gets to the base.
He also seems to have
so
an excellent
from one side of the field to the other.
And awareness of how to maneuver his body, how to twist it, how to switch around to get to that ball the quickest way possible.
So the top of the Jets order was only able to produce a run. Let's see what the top of the Thunder order can do. We saw their top 3 hitters all score runs in the top of the bottom of the first inning, bottom of the second inning, 4-3 Jets.
Kevin walking Zach out into left field, wiping his hands on the way back and his face. It's definitely getting hot out there, folks, and thank you again for all the support from all those volunteers. Run water, bases, electrical, all the help is definitely appreciated. Couldn't do this without you. Eric Rodriguez up at bat for the Thunder. With its traditional red headband. It's going to be a solid line drive out into left, way past Zach. Richie Ricardo with the out right there. Ran over, scooped it up, and that is going to be an out.
What was that name?
Richie Ricardo.
Richie Flores back there deep.
His first name, Richie Ricardo.
Ricky Ricardo and Lucy with Richie Flores with the foot out. Richie Flores and I went to college together at Texas A&M, and I told him about the sport of beat baseball, and he ended up going to the Austin Blackhawks and now the San Antonio Jets, and has turned into one of the dominant defensive players in this organization.
Gigamon Aggies.
Absolutely.
Richie, a man who loves the sport and will do absolutely anything he can play, any single weekend he can.
And I have Richie Flores personally to thank for this opportunity. So Which one? He was the one that first initially reached out to me to come and broadcast with you guys this week. So great put out for him.
10, Gerald Dykes. And barely on the tip of his bat. It's a grounder over and right. All Ricky has to do is and it is out. Ricky's ran right up there and scooped it up. It was just a short little drop, maybe about 30 to 40 feet past the pitcher. It was a really easy put out for Rich.
Talked about his improvement up front there, and that's his second put out of this game. He is definitely on it, and the first 2 batters have been retired, Rodriguez and Dykes. They're now both 1 for 2, and the Jets have responded here defensively in this inning, trying to get through it, still leading 4-3.
Number 6, Corian White, holding the bat up in his left hand.
Quiet, please. Set. Ready. Hit.
Hard nailed out into left field. Again, it is past Zach. He is running for it, dove in front of it, stopped it, and has it, and got it. He literally was running again. I saw him do this yesterday, running alongside the ball as it rolled in the grass and dove in front of it to stop it, then grabbed it and got it out.
We talk about a concept of time. He knew how much time he had before Corian White got to the base. An excellent base runner, as most of the Indy Thunder are, and he knew how much time he had. He knew it was either do or dive, and he did.
Second put out of the game. That's exactly what the San Antonio Jets needed to be able to turn the tide in this game. They had to show up on defense in order to get their bats back in play.
Absolutely. So they held the Thunder. No points for the Thunder. It is still a 4-3 Jets game.
Indy Thunder 3.
And you heard the score announcement. It is 4-3 in favor of the Jets. And now the Jets, they've turned the momentum. Now they can't give it back by going 1-2-3 themselves. They need to come out and swing.
This is the first time Zach Arambulis played up front on that left field side in many, many, many years. They usually have Isaiah Wilcox with the San Antonio Jets, who is a multi-time MVP. So for Zach to step up this year, missing Isaiah, is key to the San Antonio Jets' success.
And the Thunder also missing 2 key contributors in their lineup, Tyler Rodriguez, Zach Bueller, involved in the Special Olympics, the Paralympics. So
you can
a couple of big names there too.
Through the end of the game.
Coming up to bat for the Jets.
To the right of the restroom building.
Number 23, Ricky Ruzica, as he stretches the bat above his hand, one hand on each end and stretching.
And they're replacing first base.
Resembling Kevin a little bit, as they both out there have just about the same growth of red beard on their face as Kevin and Ricky.
But I think they're going to have to replace first base.
We do have a call bringing the new one out, and the other one is being carried off.
Glenn Hopkins, who's been in charge of bringing equipment to the fields and kind of monitoring it throughout the week, has said we've gone through a lot of bases this week.
It's working.
So we obviously need to make the investment into some newer bases because they seem to be dying a lot quicker than usual. But we've had a lot of these bases for many, many years.
Has that been a factor in other World Series in the past, or is this kind of a new one, 2021?
You know, it has, but as equipment ages, they tend to go out a lot easier.
Again, this is Ricky, number 23 for the Jets.
Ricky Ruzica scored the third run for the Jets in the first inning, looking to go 2 for 2.
Looking over his left shoulder. And a hard pop-up over to right, but that is going to be foul. That landed about 10 feet outside the first base foul line.
And you see coaching from these elite pitchers in the batter's box. I don't think I've seen coaching like what Kevin Simpson does in the batter's, like with the batter.
No, he communicates with you constantly. Having played for the Jets in 2017, he's a consummate professional, but always telling you where to improve.
Previously wiping all the sweat off his face again as he moves up to the pitcher's mound.
And I think what makes a man like him so respected, Blake, is he also has the ability and to say when he messes up.
Oh!
Yeah.
It was just a hair's width of space between the bat as it rolled over the top of the ball.
2 strikes now.
Oh, and it's going to be a hard line drive over and to right. Oh, and it is stopped by Corian. It is Corian White with the put out. They're short on right.
And for those of you who heard Kevin Simpson, he knew that would be an out right off the bat. He was frustrated when that ball was hit. He's been around the game since 1985, and so he could turn and know where that ball was going and what was about to occur.
And we've highlighted that several times on our Jets the games that we've broadcast for the Jets, because we've heard the little grunts and every single time, and it's always an out. It's usually a ground ball, and he knows that.
He knows exactly what's about to happen.
A little Ricky, or Lil Meat, coming up for the Jets as Kevin comes up to the pitcher's mound.
That was Corian White up there making that play? Or was that Corey
was
White?
Corian White who had the put out.
So 1 out. Not the way you wanted to start things for the Jets.
Oh, and he was underneath that ball, just about a half inch.
And, you know, you always love when the breeze comes around, says hello, gets your hopes up for a second, and then immediately goes away. That's what appears to be happening here. We'll breeze for a second.
Oh, and another one where he was just under, but he was probably under by about an inch this time. And again, this little Ricky has this peculiar way of holding that bat right up against his waist, the top of the bat right at his ear. Oh, and he was over that again. He seems to consistently be just over that ball.
He's 0 for 1 at the plate, but 2 putouts already defensively.
Shaking his bat a little bit in frustration.
Pumping him up a little bit.
Not to hold back. Oh, and he does hard line drive, but it looks like it's going right to, oh, it went right past Corian's fingers. Out behind. And he is going to be safe as he tackles first base, almost like Superman, sliding right over the top of it and onto the ground.
Missed opportunity defensively.
That was a missed opportunity by Kyle Lewis.
That was so impressive by little Ricky, but Kevin Simpson had a lot to do with that at bat. He kept him calm, he kept him relaxed, kept him laughing and motivated, and he did what he had to do to score.
Definitely could see the frustration as he gripped that bat and kind of shook it just a couple inches.
It was a 3-strike hit again. It's a pressure-packed hit, and now we're back to Zach Orambula. He's 0 for 2.
And that does mean the Jets have taken up to the 5-3 lead.
And Ricky Castaneda made the final out against the Thunder yesterday in that 12-10 loss. And one of the Jets players told me after the game, he was trying to pump him up during the at-bat. Relax. And Kevin said, be quiet.
Oh, that's a narrow miss.
When he's in the batter's box, he's mine. You don't talk to him, you let me talk to him. That may have distracted him. He went up striking out to end the game, and you saw it there.
Oh, and that ball was just a little near the end of the bat.
Just remarkable coaching.
Oh, and a little low tip. It drops right to the plate. Zach feeling home plate, front corner again.
3 strikes. Play.
Quick rotation with the bat in his wrist. High pop-up over to just off of center, over toward left, past Adam Rodenbeck. Miguel Tello with the put-out. Just scooped it right up behind Adam.
What an incredible play.
That's his second put out of the day. A little bit of a cleaner one than the first one. Zach Arambula, actually, that was the one he made on Zach Arambula back in the second inning. So that's 2 plays made on Zach Arambula by Miguel, and that's 0 for 3 at the dish for him in this game. And 3 contacts, no strikeouts, just three plays made in the field by the Indy Thunder. And David Smith, this is a big batter for the Jets. He's already 2 for 2. He's trying to extend out this lead. They've scored 1 run in the inning, but we know what the Thunder are capable of offensively. David Smith looking to give them a little bit more, 5-3.
Okay, David up at bat. His tall green socks and green cleats. Swinging the bat back to his shoulder. A high pop-up about 80 feet up in the air. It looks like it's going to land just, behind him past Eric, but right to Miguel. And he catches it as it bounces up into his waist, and he is out again by Miguel Tello.
What an inning for Miguel in the field, Blake. 2 putouts, and he was on top of it to keep them down. Only 1 run allowed.
Absolutely, and you can hear the energy with the Indy Thunder. Darnell Booker was over here, their coach, and you can hear it in his voice and you can hear it on their sideline. Those plays make a huge difference in the way they approach the game and their excitement level.
And you get past David Smith in the order as well.
Popped down as Eric was running over toward the third base area. At just about 3 feet before it hit the ground, he realized that he had overshot it. It was behind him. He turned around to run, but Miguel was already over there, dropping to the ground, and as it bounced, it went right into Miguel's stomach, scooped it up with his hands, and that's all it took.
Again, we thank those of you for listening, bringing you this game from the South Lakes Soccer Complex in Wichita, Kansas. We're hosted by Visit Wichita, and we're sponsored by our friends from InVision. We're bringing you this game on behalf of the NBBA. I'm Matt Wallace, Rosina Foster, and president of the NBBA, Blake Boudreau. The Indy Thunder and the San Antonio Jets playing in the championship potential game if the Indiana Thunder were to win it. It is 5-3 in favor of the Jets. However, the Thunder are about to take their turn batting in the bottom of the third.
For all of you at home watching or at the hotel in the lovely feeling air conditioning, give us a wave, a shout out, say hello, say thank you, and keep up with Beat Baseball.
Please don't mention that you're in air conditioning either.
It has been hot all week, more so than they're used to here in Wichita.
Corey up at bat, swinging the bat in his wrists around several times to stay flexible.
Corey Wade 0 for 1 so
Black and
far.
white. Oh, and that just popped off. He's running for third, but it's going to be short, and it is foul. Made it about 6 feet shy of being fair.
Jared Woodard, I mentioned earlier that he started at a young age of 12. He was started in the sport of beat baseball in 2003, but his family's been involved for decades. He's developed into one of the greatest pitchers who's ever stepped foot on the field, and he just has such composure as the game goes on.
Corey Black back at the plate, measuring with his bat at the front. Now back on his feet, nodding to the umpire that he is indeed ready. Taking a deep breath. Swinging the bat back up to his shoulder. And it's going to be another tip where it just drops right to his feet.
Yeah, and it really does seem like they're building a dynasty there with Jared Woodard, the White brothers, the Rodriguez brothers. Everything seems to be breaking for the Thunder. All young, the Indy Thunder, 4 consecutive titles. They really are building something, or have built something here.
Absolutely.
Corey
4
lifting
board
his
members.
shoulders. And it's going to be a hard line drive over into left, but it's past Zach, and it's going to be a Richie Flores with the ball as he lays on his back, lifts it up, and it is out.
Again, that ball, they're hitting the ball at with such tremendous power. It sounds like the ball is dying off the bat, but they are just pounding the ball today. Jared Woodard and Kevin Simpson are on fire.
But that's the second putout for Richie Flores today. We only saw one putout, I think, combined in the first 3 games, simply because he hasn't had many opportunities that we've watched him play against the Edge, against the Blackhawks, against the Thunder yesterday. Didn't get too many opportunities to make plays in the field. Made a big play against the Edge to stem the momentum in that game early, and we've seen him called upon a couple times in this game, and he's made both plays, and that's 2 huge putouts for him. The Jets needed outside factors who were not factors yesterday against the Thunder to be factors today.
And we did need a change in balls.
We did have a change. Price could not even get the pin back in the old ball, so he walked around behind us and gave it a toss so the weak noise would not interrupt.
Jets so far getting production from the bottom of their lineup. Didn't see too much yesterday, especially in the Austin game. Getting production from the back end defensively. Really, it was just the Zach Arambula show against the Thunder yesterday. Not so today.
Kyle Lewis back up at bat. Left-handed pinner still with his pants ripped from yesterday. Oh, and he was under that. The ball almost had a slight curve upward right before it got to him. Oh, and he was sliding right under that again by about an inch.
So 2 strikes on the hitter. Haven't seen anyone pass yet in this game. We have not seen a single pass. You won't from Kevin. Most likely not from Jared either.
Oh, that time that ball was about an inch over the bat.
Still a take. Yeah, right?
He's going to have a take now, yeah.
Broadcaster's jinx.
Oh, he let a pass. That was a pass.
Oh, you knew he was going to take it, didn't you?
Just because you said it, Matt.
Well, he took the pitch.
That was a curse there. A high pop-up is going to be foul and about 30 feet up in there. And that was Kyle, again, trying to catch the ball as it came back down, just kind of sticking his hand out. We saw that yesterday. He tried to do that and actually hit him in the head.
You know, generally I'm guessing that fielders don't really root for the strikeout. They want to move around, make plays. It pumps you up a little bit more. But in a game like this, you'll take a strikeout gladly, any kind of way you can get an out. You can get a freebie like a strikeout, like that.
Oh, and that is going to be out as you can hear the wind whistle past that bat and a near miss.
I'm 1 for 2. The broadcaster got it right that time. So that was a tough at bat for Kyle Lewis, and he's 0 for 2 now, and that's a freebie for the Jets.
We hadn't seen a pass. Somebody took a pass.
Just on time.
Miguel back up at bat, doing his amazing job out in the outfield on defense.
0 for 1 at the plate, trying to break free of that. Now, it's funny. I'm glad I didn't mention it, but I'll admit.
Oh, almost just about 3 inches over Jared's head, goes down to center, and that is going to be out. I believe that is David Smith with that put out.
His first of the game. He's been very good defensively. You talked about his defense earlier, Blake, and he's made
have a break or no?
key putouts. And I think we're going to have a break here after the 3rd inning.
David Smith is so impressive. When I played for the Jets, he would always come to me asking what drills he could run to improve his defense. He would text and call me on a regular basis to ask questions, to learn. And he has become an incredible 2-way player, and it's just so good to see.
And that's really, what separates the Hall of Fame players, the good player, the players that come to the World Series and hit 700, 800, and the players that, are decent and very athletic and may be really fast and, may score some runs, but, simply don't measure up because they're not putting in that time and that effort. If you really want to be an elite beat baseball player.
And these Jets, the San Antonio Jets and the Indy Thunder, both are just packed with incredible athletes. I mean, guys who have speed and strength and who put time in. The Indy Thunder practice year-round. They have an indoor facility for when it's snowing. They put in the time. And the Jets do the same thing. They're constantly practicing, working by themselves.
Is Taylor out?
Ricky Ruzicka lives in Ohio,
Is Taylor out
but
or not?
still works on his speed and
He's
his
on their
running
roster.
and ways to improve himself even away from the team. So these guys have developed so far from 2017
You don't have
when I was
hold them
on
up, Jason. You don't
their
have
bench,
to
and it's good. It's good to watch their development.
There are a lot of jeering on both benches there. And definitely some wonderful defense going on there as the Jets held them again to those 3 points. So we still have a 5-3 Jets lead as the Jets coming up to bat with Axel Cox, trying to put some more points on the board and widen that gap.
And would you believe it, Rosina? Well, 9 consecutive Thunder batters have been retired.
It's hard to believe. Just good, solid defense by the San Antonio Jets.
Eric Rodriguez taking a knee out in the field as he reties his shoe to make sure he is ready and tight, running those speeds to scoop that ball up.
And this is a big opportunity for the Jets. They have a 2-run lead. They got the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up.
And during our break, you could hear Jason Price and his father, Kemp Price, communicating. They both were umpires for this organization for a very long time.
And ready for the pitch. Well, maybe we're not ready. Ball just died in hand.
Just another family connection that we were talking about. I broadcast for the Philadelphia Fire. You have Natoli, brother and sister. You know, everywhere you look, it's really great to see. It creates family bonds. It creates a very, very tight-knit community, I could imagine.
Absolutely. Beat baseball is not just your average sport. It changes people's lives, not only the athletes, but the volunteers who are involved with the game as well.
So we're getting set here to start the top half of the 4th inning. The Jets trying to extend out. They lead 5-3 in what they hope is not their last game of the season.
Practice tosses there by Kevin with this new ball, smacking it into an Axel, taking his wipe at a practice one as he hears it goes through. That little, but stepping back off the plate and ready for the pitch.
Axel 1 for 2. The Jets have 5 runs. 2 from Dave Smith, 1 from Axel, and 1 by the Rickies.
Oh, just a little early on that swing and for a strike.
Thunder getting tallies from Eric Rodriguez, Jared Dykes, and Corey Yond White.
Kevin having
Gerald
Axel
Dykes,
relax
sorry.
and completely reset. Kevin asking Kevin how it looked. Oh, and the tip off the ball that drops right back down to the catcher on the ground.
2 strikes.
Kevin Simpson, not only the father-son, his daughter as well, Sarah Simpson, volunteer for the Jets. Spotter.
Oh, it's going to be a hard line drive right into center field. Eric rushing over there to grab it. And he has it as right before Axel tackles third base.
Yeah.
That Simpson family extends to the Austin Blackhawks. That's where they all got their start for the most part. Wayne Simpson's Kevin's brother. Started at age 14, and Kevin got involved at age 9 to be able to help his brother in the sport. Their mother, Rusty Reams, is the paramount fundraiser and organizer for the Austin Blackhawks, and Jamie Simpson, Kevin's sister-in-law, is also an incredible athlete and board member for this organization.
Aaron up at bat with his green cleats and his star headband.
Aaron, guys.
Booker hollering out to the field that it is Aaron. Oh, and he's going to be just underneath that pitch.
1 strike on the batter, 1 out in the inning. Another great defensive play turned in by Eric Rodriguez to start this inning for the Thunder. Kevin Simpson, mentioned 7-time Blackhawk champion.
Oh, again, still swinging just a touch early.
Kevin actually has a total of 9 championships.
All with Austin?
All with Austin.
All with Austin. Okay, I stand corrected. 9-time. That's
That
special.
was almost right on, just a bare miss.
So he's looking for that, the one for the thumb, so to speak.
Absolutely, that 10. Top it off.
Oh, and it's going to be a little tip-off coming up short right onto left field. It is going to be past the line. Eric scrambling to grab the ball, and he is out. Eric made it all the way up to the corner. That was probably about 6 inches behind the fair line and about 6 inches from the third baseline. It was as corner as you could get. Perfect
if you hit it
placement.
to left field, Eric Rodriguez will put you out. That is one thing that we have learned over the years. Even as a child, Eric showed the aptitude to be able to go after those balls. So
Aaron Almanza almost hit it where they ain't, and he almost got there in time. You're simply not going to beat that play. 2 putouts in this inning already for Eric Rodriguez.
Ricky Ruzica up at bat.
He scored first back in the first inning. 1 for 2.
It's going to be a line to grounder, bounced off of Corian. And he picks it up. Plenty of time for
Room
that
service
out by Corian White.
Corian White's been on it defensively. He has a couple putouts in his own right, and that was a key defensive stand there for Eric Rodriguez, Corian White, and the Indy Thunder. They turned the Jets away in the 4th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Incredibly, it's 5-3 in favor of the Jets. I don't think any of us expected that.
Been no points on the board in a while. Either of those last 2 up at bats. Both teams holding the other. Just going to be scrambling to who can advance first.
And if you look at the defense for the San Antonio Jets and what's occurred during this game, it's not one player. It's not one player who's dominating this game. It's everybody between David Smith, Richie Flores, Little Ricky. You have Zach Arambulo. Everybody's contributing to the defense here.
Absolutely.
It do seem like we have a substitution. Lupe Perez will be coming in for Aaron.
That's great.
And Lupe Perez is a Hall of Fame defensive and offensive player. Lupe has dominated the sport of beat baseball for over 2 decades, and one of the greatest deep defenders this league has ever seen. So Lupe entering the game is something that Kevin Simpson and the San Antonio Jets are doing to try to shore up their defense.
And it's great to see from Lupe Perez, because he sustained an injury against the Indy Edge. It was on Thursday, and they weren't sure if he was going to be able to play. He made an appearance yesterday, and actually scored a run in the 6th inning against the Thunder, but they weren't sure if he was going to be able to give it a go today, and he's out there now.
We have Eric Rodriguez back up at bat with his red bandana.
1 for 2 for Eric Rodriguez.
Oh, that almost took off Jared's head. If he hadn't turned his head, it would have took off his jaw. But he is going to be out as it's picked up by Axel Cox out in center field.
Axel Cox, Blake, yet another contributor for the Jets defensively.
It's everybody, and they are stepping up big time. But I was going to say regarding Lupe Perez's injury, you'll see some of the greats in this sport and these athletes, they have this 1 week a year to really show their skill, and they will play through injury.
Absolutely.
As we have a quick check here, would you like to go over some of the rules really quick here, Matt?
I was just going to say real quick, 5 different Jets with putouts, which is certainly not what we saw from 12, not to belabor the point, but 12 putouts by Zach Arambula yesterday. But after this, I'll definitely go over some.
First strike for Gerald Dykes.
Beat baseball, a 6-on-6 game, 4 strikes per batter, 1 take. The line's 40 feet. You need to hit it beyond 40 feet for it to be considered a fair ball. 170 feet in the air, beyond 100.
Another strike for Gerald as he slides about 2 inches above the ball.
Beyond 170 feet in the air is considered a home run, and that's 2 runs for your team if that is hit. We haven't seen one on one of our broadcasts yet.
Oh, it kind of leaned a little bit when he came into that. This time the ball was a touch on the outside, and I think he kind of heard it. You could feel him stretch a little with the shoulders.
And another rule that's kind of relevant to this situation, I'll probably be interrupted by the pitch, so I'll wait till the...
Oh, it's going to be a solid hit out into left. Oh, but it bounced over Zach as he laid down to scoop it. But Richie Flores again with the putout, backing up his teammate.
Great backup, great communication in the field. 3 putouts for Richie Flores. And 2 outs in the inning, and he's been all over it. And the Jets team is they're a different Jets team. They resemble, Rosina, more of the Jets defense that we saw against the Indy Edge.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't expect anything less, so that was a good play.
Yeah, the ball definitely, Zach had ran over there to stop it, dropped his body down in perfect position, but the ball landed right in front of him, and it bounced maybe about 3 or 4 inches over his body and kept going right past him.
One of the important factors to our rules with beat baseball is the pitcher and catcher are on your team.
Yes.
And they communicate with the batter And the pitcher's job is to get his pitch where that batter's swing is so that they can make contact. And you'll hear the cadence, ready, set, ball, or ready, set, pitch. So the batter knows when it's coming, and the timing is the key.
And that's why practice.
High pop up by Corian, probably about 20 feet up. It's going to be foul, about 4 feet outside of the first base line.
Strike one on the batter.
You'll have sighted volunteers, the pitcher and catcher, both sighted, and spotters in the field who are allowed to call one number so the players in the field know exactly what area of the field the ball is going to. So the sighted volunteers are also a big help.
One strike. Play. Set. Ready. Hit.
It's going to be a little low grounder, but it's going to roll out on the third base side as Zach was ready to grab it if it wasn't.
2 strikes on the hitter, and that's why practicing on your own as a hitter is extremely important. But I imagine that pitcher-hitter connection, having just practiced on your own as a hitter in your backyard all day, and you can go over in the World Series if you have no.
You will struggle. You have to have that timing and connection with your pitcher.
With your pitcher.
2 outs in the inning. Thunder be trying to get something going offensively, which is amazing to say.
Set. Ready. Hit.
Taking a pitch there. It's every batter is going to bat just a little bit different, so absolutely practice with that pitcher. He's going to have to know how each one hits.
Right.
A little bit under.
And as long as you keep your swing consistent, the pitcher will find you, and he will. As long as you practice that consistent with him.
Oh, a high pop up. It's about 60 feet in the air. It is going to be fair center field. Little Rick. And he is safe. He is safe. No? With his, where there's going to be a contention here. The ump is coming out.
That was a close play, and the umpires are going
I didn't think he bobbled.
to discuss to.
I'm pretty sure that one is going to be safe. Oh, he's going to check with the base judge.
We have umpires behind our scorekeeping table in our broadcast booth here who concur that the batter was safe, but Jason Price, our head umpire, is going around to ask people who may have had a better view.
What was your view on the play?
I'm pretty sure that he was safe, but again, I'm not the umpire. Yep, he's holding it. He is safe, so that is going to finally give Indy that much-needed run to break their drought. So it is now 4-5 with the Jets lead.
Jets up 5-4, and to be honest, this could be a huge break for the Thunder. This would have been 12 in a row retired by the Thunder. Almost a play that was able to be made in the field just in time, and you wonder if the next batter, Corey White, will just hit the daylights out of it now.
Getting the base check.
This will be key for the Jets to make a defensive play to shut this momentum down.
Yep, still 2 outs.
Set. Ready. Hit.
High pop up, a good 80-90 feet up in the air as it goes over to right field. Scrambling to find where it is. The second it had dropped to the ground, David Wright out there trying to find where it was, looking up into the sky for a split second as he realized it was in front of him, dropped to grab the ball, but it was too late, and that is another run for the Thunder.
That was an ideal baseball hit. On these fields especially, you want to get the ball as high as possible, and he was almost to the base, which is at 100 feet before that ball landed on the ground.
Yeah, you could just almost sense it coming with the run of Corian White, just finally giving his team something to be pumped up about. I mean, the Thunder, they weren't as rowdy, they weren't as energetic, and they just gave them something to be excited about. The first pitch by Corey White just launched.
Well, it does tie them up 5-5 as Kyle Lewis comes up to bat, left-handed batter, adjusting and pulling up his pants.
Set. Ready. Hit.
Oh, and it tipped right back. It was a little high, rolled right off the top of the bat.
Kyle Lewis 0 for 2. Richie Flores being told face right, adjusting the fielders.
Set. Ready. Hit.
It's going to drop just past Jared, but it is going to be fair, though. Can they get to it in time? And he is out. Little Ricky ran right up on that ball and got it up, so he is out.
And that's the key in these big games or any big baseball game. You have to get the outs that are hit on the ground and that are gettable. The play before that, there's very few players in this organization who could have picked up that ball having so much airtime. So the ones that are on the ground and doable, you have to make sure to make those plays.
And so far, a couple of momentum changes that could have been a lot worse for the Jets haven't. You saw it was a 3-3 game. Zach Arambula hit a ball. It was he missed the base. It could have been a huge play. David Smith immediately scores a run. The Jets have a put out that maybe it was so close. Corian White winds up scoring. The next batter, Corey White, launches one. Could have really gotten away from the Jets. Could have allowed a lot more runs. The Thunder could have really built on that momentum. They shut it down. Good play by Ricky Castaneda, his third put out of the day.
Not letting that momentum get to him, rushing right up there and getting that put out.
And like I said, that's a couple times where the Jets have really, had the opportunity to be discouraged. They have to win 2 games today. This is the 4-time defending champion Thunder. There's no doubt that they have a tall task ahead of them, but they've been up for it. 5-5.
And I'll take this opportunity. If you want to learn more about the game of beat baseball, please visit us at www.nbba.org. And if you'd like to get involved as a volunteer, go to the Find a Teams tab and locate a team near you. We could always use the help of sighted volunteers or blind athletes who want to participate in the sport of beat baseball.
Out in the field there, as they were waiting to be ready, Miguel was doing a handstand on his head out there in the field. But little Ricky is up at bat right after his put out, just like the last time he had a put out.
This ball is not in good shape. I won't be surprised if they call for an injury soon. It seems to be changing pitch.
It does have a very vibrating sound.
Little Ricky scored a run his last at bat. Some good coaching by Kevin Simpson. A good piece of 3-strike hitting.
Oh, he almost
In the
touched
third.
that ball.
2 strikes on him now.
He dropped his bat. He's readjusting his gloves, tightening them up.
We're here in the 5th inning of a 5-5 game. This is a championship game. Indy Thunder, San Antonio Jets. Thank you all for listening. On behalf of the NBBA, Matt Wallace, Rosina Foster, President of the NBBA, Blake Boudreau, bringing you this game.
Just a little clapping there by the catcher. And it's going to be a high little pop-up over into left field. It's right to Adam. And Adam has him out. Adam Roddenbeck for the put-out.
And again, playing on a hurt hamstring, it is impressive that Adam is still able to move to the ball the way he does.
2 put-outs, and it sounded like a pop. Was that
It was more than a line drive, but not quite a pop-up. I'd say that was probably about 35 to 40 feet in the air, but moving in a more forward momentum like a line drive.
And he was in position. He was positionally sound. Sometimes when you say it's right to the player, it is, and it's always key to be positionally sound. I'm sure if it's right to you, you've done your job. The spotters have done their job to scout the play and to move position to
Some of the
positionally
harder
sound.
plays to make are the ones directly to you. So it takes a lot of skill to pick up the ball out there, regardless.
Aaron up at bat as he drops a little grounder into left field. Aaron grabbing that up, and up he is out. You could see as soon as that hit was made, Kevin kind of grumbled, spun himself around with a growl. Oh, he knew that was going to be bad.
I keep hearing them talk about Tyler out there. Is Eric Rodriguez make that put out, or was
That was Eric Rodriguez with the put out.
Playing in this
No,
tournament?
Tyler is not playing in this tournament. He sustained an injury, and we're all praying for Tyler to get healthy and be back for the 2022 World Series. He's a great addition to the Indy Thunder roster, and our thoughts and prayers go out to him.
2 outs in the inning, and
Eric
still a
tying his
tie
other
game.
shoe out in the field this
2
time.
for 3 for Dave Smith. He really needs a pop here for the Jets.
David Smith up at bat as base check goes on. He's taking a deep breath, swinging the bat up to his shoulder. Oh,
Time quiet, please. Call it back in, baby.
at a time called by the umpire due to noise. Oh, and it's going to be a strike as David swings his body so far around. His right foot come clear around almost to the third baseline.
Strike 1 on the hitter, 2 outs in the inning.
It's going to be a pop-up over foul to the first base Jets bench.
Kevin Simpson doing his coaching in the
Two strikes.
batter. Very, very critical batter feeling for the Jets.
Oh, it's going to be a hard pop line over into right field. It's past everyone. They are running for the scrambling. Literally, Kyle Lewis dropping and rolling 3 times over the ball. But it is not going to be enough, and David Smith gets the run, which puts the Jets ahead 6-5.
That was almost an incredible play. But again, this is part of David Smith's development as a player. 4 years ago, David, his nerves would have gotten to him in a pressure-packed situation like this, but you can see what the practice and time he's put into the sport has done for his confidence, and he went up there and smashed the ball to right field.
And this is the second time in a tie game David Smith has come up to bat, his team needing a run desperately. The last at bat, as I alluded to earlier, was after the Zach Arambula missed base. So both at times not only where he needed a run, but where the team really needed a tally, he comes through 3 for 4.
This is a pop-up by Axel Cox, and it is going to be foul as it did not make it, but maybe 30 feet out. Coming back to plate as Eric Rodriguez runs back to his position. He was already almost all the way up to the pitcher.
He is so quick in the field.
Spotter just adjusting a couple
Again,
positions.
this ball does not sound very good. I'm surprised that they're not calling for a new ball.
So they are right now.
Okay.
Good call.
It has seemed to be going downhill for quite some time now. So
Yeah, that hit earlier by David Smith out there in right field, it was probably only about 15 feet inside the first base foul line, but probably it dropped a good 20 feet behind Kyle Lewis. So there was a lot of scrambling. He literally threw his body down onto the ball and rolled over it 3 times.
And I do want to make a comment about the timeout that occurred earlier for noise. So this sport is played primarily by ear for our athletes who are all under blindfold due to varying degrees of visual impairment. Sound is key, so they're listening for the ball and the bases. And any noise, external noise, will distract them from being able to play the game.
So we're going to resume play here with Axel Cox. He has 1 strike. There are 2 outs in the inning. The Jets have forged in front 6-5 over the Indy Thunder in the top of the 5th.
That ball does not sound good either.
That one does not sound good either, as we have a plane also going overhead.
Yeah, that ball sounds like it got
Waterlogged.
run
It
over by a
does sound
car
like it is
or what.
underwater.
You guys want it, Eric? You okay with that or new one?
Coach Booker asking the team if they're okay with
And
that.
teasing the fielders. Hey, you okay with this one? No, obviously.
So the
not
ball's
okay with
tossed
that
back
one.
in.
Darnell Booker's won 5 championships, 1 as a player and 4 as a coach. So he definitely understands what it takes to win, and he's not going to let the little things occur that will affect his team on defense.
Axel's still nice and relaxed up there. All casual.
I think the difference that I've seen in the elite teams and the to become not so elite teams, you see these elite teams, they come out and they're just workmanlike. They don't sit there arguing with umpires. They might have some gamesmanship with the umpires and argue for calls, but they're not going to sit there and let that get to them or let the emotion of that situation get to them. It's not going to be about, well, this person said this or did this. It's all about the game. It's all about trying to win and trying to, practice makes perfect, and these guys practice all the time. Winter, summer.
Oh, a little slight tip as it drops. And Axel just takes 2 faltering steps before he stops to turn to come back to the base.
Of course, when I used to play for Philadelphia's 2010 outfit, before they were the Fire, when they were the Wolfpack, it was just a different culture, quite frankly.
Ready for the pitch. Oh, just barely off of that by about 2 inches.
3 strikes now.
I'll meet you there.
Pop up into center field. It's rolled to left, and Eric has got it rolled over, lifted it up. He is
No
out.
chance.
Eric Rodriguez with that out.
It's a big run by David Smith, but also good defensive inning by Eric Rodriguez and company. So we will go to the bottom of the 5th.
Smokin' Joe's food
It
truck
is 6-5. So for those of you who are listening to us, Smokin' Joe's food truck is here. Probably doesn't help you because we're at the South Lakes Soccer Complex in Wichita, Kansas, but I'm sure Smokin' Joe's sounds like it's pretty good. I actually...
Sounds smoking.
They have some great barbecue here in Kansas.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Texas, I did not expect it to match up, but it definitely does the job.
Went to a place called Bite Me Barbecue last night.
That is the one I was also at last night as well, so I'm surprised we didn't run into each other. But great establishment, great service. They served a lot of people last night. At one time, I was surprised to see almost probably 70 or 80 people within this smaller restaurant.
Jets getting set up in the field position. A few moving around by the spotters.
This is a vacation for a lot of families around the World Series. But these athletes are here to compete, but family members come and they like to explore the local environment and see what's around and have a good time away from the field also.
Certainly a vacation for me, and I have to say I'm very pleasantly surprised by the quality of the chicken wings here.
Have Miguel Tello up at bat for the Thunder, trying to break that 1-point lead the Jets have on them. And it's going to be a little grounder over into right, straight to Ricky, but and he is out again. He's starting to scoop quite a few up over there in right field.
If David Smith is the unquestioned offensive star, I'd have to say, Blake, either Ricky Castaneda short or Richie Flores deep has to be considered the defensive stars for the Jets so far in this game. 4 putouts.
Well, the key is, Jared Woodard is able to place the ball. He's one of the few pitchers in the sport who can place the ball on the batter's swing where he wants it to go on the field. And for the Jets to be able to stop the ball, regardless of where it goes, is key. And it has completely changed this game.
It's going to be a little bouncing just past fair. Zach running up, and he has an out. So that's another out by Zach, running all the way up, maybe 6 to 10 inches past the fair line, but he is out.
So Jared, though he's trying to place it in particular areas, whether he goes to right field, left field, or center field, these Jets are showing up all across the board, and he is not able to do what he typically does to teams and kind of pinpoint a weak spot. And these great pitchers, Kevin Simpson, Jared Woodard, Tim Hibner on occasion, they can pinpoint where they want that ball to go. And Jared's not able to do that today because the Jets are just showing up.
This defense just really knuckling down and holding them in their tracks. Was Gerald Dicus up for the Thunder? Hard drive, line over into right, but it went right past little Ricky and right into David Smith, snatching that up easily for the out.
Couple of key putouts.
Looks like there's going to be some contention.
And then when I got my shots.
So one of the rules in the sport of beat baseball, you do have sighted spotters on the field who, again, can call one number. But if the spotter, whether they have one-sided spotter in the field or two-sided spotters in the field, they only can call one number. And there was a protest just now that they heard 2 numbers on the field. So if the spotter did call a second number, then that would be considered a double call. But I think that was one of the players they heard that was calling the other number, which is allowed. The players can communicate with each other and kind of guide their teammates to where the ball will be.
This is a big call in this game, too, because as it stands, it would end the 5th inning.
I believe I heard Zach Arambula make a call, and again, he's a player, and he's able to do that. I did not hear a spotter call 2 numbers, but that doesn't mean it didn't occur.
Going out to check in the field with all the umps.
Oh, wow.
Runner is
That will
safe.
count for the Indy Thunder to
So it
tie the
ties
game
them up
6-6.
6-6.
That's a major call. And that is, we will see how this is another situation where we will see how the Jets respond to this. It's a big run for Gerald Dicus, his second of the game for Indy.
Brings Corian White up to bat for the Thunder.
And that's a tough break because that was a play that was made, and yet a run is on the board.
definitely could mess with you mentally. They're going to need to bounce back from this and try to stop it again.
And you feel like the Thunder have gotten a few breaks today on a couple of plays that weren't made. He had a missed base by Zach Arambile. You really feel like the 6-6 score is a major missed opportunity for the Jets.
There goes her ball.
And ball rapid. That's a baby heartbeat. That thing's fast.
With some of the newer balls we've been using, it has a slower tone, and the players have been stating that they want it faster. Well, that was definitely fast, but maybe a little too fast.
Just a little bit fast.
But again, we mentioned that double call situation. That is frustrating to a player in the field who makes that defensive play and gets it overturned due to a mistake by the sided spotter. But they do happen, and it's just everybody's job to come together and be able to bounce back from that.
Just shake it off. It's in the past. You gotta just keep on doing some more.
It's a team effort. Spotter is definitely a key part of your team as well. Tie game 6-6. Jets trying to get through it. Bottom of the 5th. This game is in crunch time.
This could be a momentum swing either way regarding what happens on this play.
And Corian White
Set. Ready. Hit.
tipped off the bottom of his bat and dropped down to the ground.
He has 2 runs scored in this game.
Set. Ready. Hit.
Oh, it's going to be a low little grounder over into left field. Zach jumping in front of it, and it is out. Zach saying, we are going to stop you, not let that bother us. Hugs the spotter, and they head on their way in.
And once again, the 3rd time you can say that in this game, a momentum change that could have really been catastrophic for the Jets and really had the 4-time championship Thunder rolling, pardon the play on words. The Jets have really shut it down and not really let that situation get any further than it's gotten to. You said good to see hugging the spotter. You know, we got you. This is going to be fine.
We're tied 6-6.
And this is it. This is inning number 6. So this is go time for the Jets offense.
Wonderful game to be in the 6th and still tied 6-6. This still can be anybody's game. It's really going to be a matter of who can just get those points up an inch away from the others. And then when the Jets head back out there, holding the Thunder down.
Yeah, the Indy Thunder is the home team, and they will get the last at bat, and that is a tough break for the San Antonio Jets. You don't want to be the visiting team and leave the Indy Thunder with at bats to take. But the way the Jets have been playing defense, I think they can overcome that. But they're going to have to get some runs in this inning to secure a win here.
Both teams have their 4, 5, 6 men coming up. So we'll see if that's a factor. Both.
If the Jets are unable to produce runs here in the top of the 6th, it's going to be a tough, tall task to hold down the Thunder from at least putting in 1 or 2 runs to win the game.
Coming up first for the Jets is going to be Lupe Perez, who is now back in the game. Kind of doing a little leg shake as he tries to stay limber and ready and loose.
Scored a run in the 6th inning yesterday, coming in fresh.
This is the guy you want at bat for the San Antonio Jets. He has been in more championship games than anybody, and he knows what it takes to get to the base here. He's not going to be shaken or rattled by anything at this moment.
Bases, please.
Doing his base check.
Kevin coming up to the pitcher's mound.
Play.
Kevin telling him toes up and getting a little more direction. Lupe calling the ball, come to me.
Pumped up.
Oh, and a slow little tiny nick on the bottom of the bat.
1 strike. Play.
Lupe feeling the plate. Let's have some fun, he says. It's going to be a bouncing in center field. But Eric is scrambling a little slow. But he has him out. That is out.
Talking about players that knows what it takes.
You notice Lupe when he was up there, right before he's ready for his bat, he has a peculiar little hissing sound that he would make right before the pitch. As he would pull the bat right back up to his shoulder.
And Lupe Perez battling an injury. I'm not sure if he was or if that was a run to the base. Eric Rodriguez making the play though.
Yeah, Eric will put you out again if you hit anywhere near him, and regardless of what speed you do have, he is just on top of everything.
and Ricky Ruzica and Ricky Castaneda here each have a run scored, but this has not been the strongest part of the order for the Jets.
Dropping a little into left field as Eric runs up, and he is out. Eric scrambling, and another one by Eric Rodriguez. This is very discouraging for the Jets and very encouraging for the Thunder.
And when they smell it, when the Indy Thunder, after 4 championships, smell the win at the end of a game, they will shut you down. And this is not where the Jets want to be with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
Eric Rodriguez just making the plays. He's the MVP. He's kind of the unquestioned, you know, from pretty much anyone you talk to, best player in the world. And
at
he is
21
shutting it
years
out.
of age, Eric Rodriguez would be on the Mount Rushmore of beat baseball. He is that good.
Little Ricky Castaneda up at bat for the Jets.
Speaking of a youngster trying to come up in a big situation.
He's got first strike as he slides over the ball.
This was his situation yesterday. The Jets were down to their final out, 12-10. He struck out to end the game, trying to make amends.
It's going to be a high pop-up into left. Looks like it's over Eric's head. It's bouncing around to Miguel and bounced off his fingers. And Ricky is safe. He did get that score. That is a safe call by the base ump.
What unbelievable composure for such a young player. That is so impressive.
Literally jumps and hops in the air about 4 feet as he comes back toward his bench as they're cheering him on. Ricky has given them a 7-6, 1-point lead for the Jets with Zach up at bat.
Second run of the game for Ricky Castaneda, and I couldn't agree with you more. What composure all around for him. 4 putouts, 2 runs scored. He's had quite the game on both sides for the San Antonio Jets.
And it comes down to coaching. He's prepared for this game.
And another reason it's a huge run is you got now Zach Arambula and Dave Smith potentially.
It's going to be a line drive over into left, though, and that went right to Eric. Scooped it in his legs, and he is out. So that only gives the Jets a 1-point lead. They're going to have to do some incredible defense again. They've shown they can do it, but it's going to be down to this. There's no more innings, no more second chances. They have to hold the Thunder.
It is the 6th inning, and watching Eric Rodriguez, it shows that this is the 6th inning. He knows when he's close, and it's going to take a team effort for these San Antonio Jets to shut them down in the bottom of the 6th.
All 3 putouts in that top of the 6th. He did complete the trifecta, and he was positionally sound on that last one. Didn't even really had to move. So you have, who's the 6-hole hitter for the Thunder? Who's in their 6-hole?
Let's see.
Miguel. Okay, so you got Miguel.
Yep,
so you're going to
Kyle.
have Corey White, you're going to have Kyle Lewis, and then you're going to have Miguel. So that's going to be your 4, 5, and 6. That's going to be what the San Antonio Jets are going to be up against defensively. Corey White scored in this game.
You have a lot of speed and power from all 3 of these guys. So, again, it's going to be a tall task. The Jets are going to have to shut it down in the outfield.
Corey sitting up at home plate. Some corrections there by Jared. Sounding off out in the field for the Jets.
Jets have gotten 2 runs from, the Thunder have gotten 2 runs from Corian White and Gerald Dicus. They've been their top performers. They've shut down, though. The Jets have the top of the order of the Thunder
Corey
generally.
rolling his shoulders just a little bit before the pitch. High pop-up over and left. It's going to be far. It's past Zach. It's past Richie Flores. And that
The game is over. The game is over on a walk-off home run. The first time in NBBA history that I've seen that done.
Sorry, go ahead,
That
continue.
has never occurred in my 27 years in this sport, and I don't know if it'll ever occur again. You've seen something special, a walk-off to win the game, the 5th straight championship for the Indianapolis Thunder.
We said we had not broadcast a home run. We had done, I think, 11 games or so this week, or 8, or I don't know. A walk-off first pitch home run, as we alluded to earlier. 2 runs for your team.
Corey White.
Corey White. And the Indy Thunder will take this 8-7 over the San Antonio Jets. for their 5th consecutive title. Incredible.
The drive for 5 is complete for the Indy Thunder. But again, that is something special. Home runs are so hard to hit in this sport, and for one to be a walk-off to win the 2021 World Series, especially after a year off due to COVID in 2020, this is something special for the sport of beat baseball.
Corey kneeling out on the grass with his head down, his team around him congratulating. He is now up on his way back to the umps, shake their hand.
The team were
shaking all their hands.
Team was just chanting his name, but you got to give a lot of credit to Eric Rodriguez, Blake, for setting this inning up defensively.
And again, he knew what he had to do. He always has. But I want to say the San Antonio Jets, that is the best I have ever seen that team play. So for them to put up that fight defensively and to do what they had to do, it's heartbreaking for them. But it is so impressive how far they've come. And even without Kevin Simpson moving forward, that is going to be a team to contend with.
Ricky Castaneda, David Smith moving forward, Zach Arambula on defense, an MVP star, absolutely. 2nd place finish for the Jets, and well-deserved. But the 5-time defending champs now will be the Indy Thunder, who had to wait, as mentioned, 2 years to defend that title. So they had bragging rights even for a 5th year. So a 5th straight title and a 6th straight year to enjoy the glory of it.
If anybody wants to see them go for a 6th, the 2022 World Series will be in Beaumont, Texas. It will be hot, but everybody will be prepared to play. So next year we will be back on the fields, and they will be going for 6.
Have the teams congratulating each other right now. This is some team camaraderie out here.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how close it was, how hard they worked, and you know they're frustrated. They're still happy for the other team. They're hugging, jumping up and down with one another, high fives all around. Wonderful sportsmanship. And that was behind that. Oh, and we're done.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, thank you all for listening. It's a pleasure working with you this week and doing the calls and commentating with you and working with the people who sat in with us.
There was a little bit of water thrown over there on the coach Booker from the Indy Thunder. A little bit of side play going on as they congratulate their coach on that 5th World Series. There's more water running on the field. It's going to be high spirits all around. They're going to be complete celebration mode as they tie in for the banquet tonight for all the awards and ceremonies.
And we'd like to thank everyone for listening and for the NBBA for giving us this opportunity to broadcast these games and to bring you these streams and to paint some sort of a picture. And we have really gotten good feedback on it as far, not always from a streaming standpoint, but from a listening standpoint, from that aesthetic. We've gotten some good feedback, and we really hope we're given this opportunity going down the road. But if not, we've really enjoyed this 2021 World Series, bringing this action to you.
Hosted by Visit Wichita and sponsored by Envision. Chanting going on by the Thunder to our left as the Jets take the field in a silent huddle.